All right, we are live. We are live. Welcome back to another Saturday coffee time with Brother Doug and Brother Pitcher, uh, where we just discuss a little bit of everything um, going on with our daily life and hope for felons and all the stuff that we've got going on. Uh, I hope that everybody has had a good week. I know we have. A lot of stuff's been going on. I think I'm having trouble with this camera.
Well,
This is
actually,
the built-in camera.
it looks good on
on
Facebook.
Facebook.
I
I,
I always have Facebook open so I can see it. It delays, so I don't turn the sound on. Doesn't do me any good. But
But
no, your
no,
camera looks
your
like it's
camera
working
looks
right
like it's
here.
working right here.
Okay, well, I think it's just a little bit of a delay for some reason. I don't know, but that's fine. Um, but I hope everybody has had a good week. I know we've been snowed in. We did get out a little bit yesterday to go get necessities for another week. But uh, Brother Pitcher, he hasn't been able to get out yet. So
Hey,
it's one of those things that I've never seen it so bad as I have this time.
yeah. Well, y'all getting
Yeah,
that
well,
palm
y'all getting that
cyclone. I'm
palm
glad I'm not
cyclone.
over
I'm glad
there.
I'm not over there.
Yeah, we are
Yeah,
still
we
not
are
able
still
to,
not able
have not been
to
able to get
have
out.
not been able to
We're
get out.
gonna.
We're
My wife
gonna.
just
My wife just
caught me as I
caught me
running
as I
through the
was
room to
running through the
get
room to
online,
get online,
talking about
talking
maybe
about
trying to
maybe
get out this
trying to get out
afternoon
this
so that we
afternoon
can
so
scout a
that we can
path to
scout a
drive to get
path
her
to
to
drive
work
to get
on
her to
Monday.
work on Monday.
It's bad enough that
It's
most
bad
of the
enough that
roads
most of
around
the
here,
roads
just like
around
where
here,
you're
just
at,
like
are
where
goat
you're at, or
paths that
goat
somebody came and
paths
threw
that somebody came and
asphalt
threw
on top
asphalt
of,
on top
and
of,
barely wide
and
enough for
barely
two
wide enough for
cars.
2 cars.
And
And
when
uh,
they
when
they all have tree
they all have
lines,
tree
so there's
lines,
trees
so there's
underneath.
trees
The
underneath.
sun never
The
hits
sun
the
never hits
asphalt,
the asphalt,
so it never
so it
melts.
never melts.
And we don't have
And we
snow
don't have
plows,
snow
and we don't
plows,
have
and we
salt
don't have
spreading
salt
trucks
spreading trucks
like they do up
like they
north.
do up north.
I mean, just this
Just
last
this
year, the
last
county
year, the
I live
county I
in
live in
bought two
bought
snow
2 snow
plows
plows
and got three
and
or four
got 3 or
salt
4
spreaders
salt
put on the
spreaders
back of
put on the
their
back of their
utility trucks.
utility trucks.
So this is the
So
first
this
year
is the
we've
first year
actually
we've
had
actually
snow
had snow
plows that
plows
work for the
that work for the
county.
county.
But I'm on
But
such
I'm
a
on such a
tertiary county
tertiary county
road
road
that it will
that it
be
will be
next winter
next
before
winter
they have
before
us
they
come
have us
around the
come
first
around the
time.
first time.
So
it's
it's funny.
funny.
When you live
When
out in
you
a
live
rural
out in a
area,
rural area,
you learn.
you learn.
It's 2 weeks,
2 weeks,
almost 2 weeks
almost
now
2 weeks
since we've been
now
able
since
to
we've
get
been
out.
able to get out.
We've not ever
We've
lost
not ever
power
lost
though. We've
power
been
though.
good
We've
there.
been
God
good
has
there.
been good
God has
on
been
that.
good on that.
And
And
we're staying
we're staying
warm.
warm.
We've got
We've got
plenty of
plenty of
food, so we
food,
don't
so
have to
we don't
worry
have to
about
worry
that. I
about
mean, we
that. I
could
mean,
sit
we could sit
we could sit here
we could
for a
sit
few
here
more
for a few
weeks
more weeks
if we had
if
to.
we had to.
As long as we
As
got
long as we got
electricity, we're good.
we're good.
We don't have a
We don't have a
generator. We've
generator.
talked
We've
about a
talked about a
generator
generator
for
for
10 years,
10 years,
and we still ain't got
we
one.
still
Tells
ain't
you
got
how
one. Tells
fast
you
we
how
move
fast
on
we
stuff.
move on stuff.
Well, I know that it was last year. Actually, no, it would be the year before because I got the generator in 24, the end of 24, and it's almost paid for. And it's really, it was just the Lord. That's all I can say because one of the big things I was talking to Brother Porter, I said, hey, I said, we have got to figure out what to do if the power goes out. And, you know, that's the time that we started the Bible Institute and, having everything online. And I said, my biggest thing was, and all I really cared about was being able to make sure that the server and everything was running. Well, of course, Mom steps in and she says, well, if you're going to do it, you might as well make sure that the whole house is covered. So that way, and don't just worry about the server. And I was like, okay, Mom, okay. So instead of getting the small one that would take care of that, I went and got a more powerful one. And I think this generator would, if we had the correct connections to the electrical box, we could just plug it directly up to the electrical box and be able to use, we could use everything but the heat pump. The heat pump would have to be cut off, but everything else would run. So that would mean we could still, our outlets and stuff would work, where if we need to plug in electric heat or whatever, we could do that. So I mean, it was nice because I told the Lord, this was at the time where, I got out in 2018, but because I was in the length of time that I was in, my credit didn't have no credit. And I told the Lord, I said, well, if you want me to do this, then you let them finance this generator. And Lord behold, I put in all my information and it come back approved. I was like, oh my goodness. Well, I know that the Lord wanted me to have this generator, or he would never let me have the credit for it. So I just give the Lord all the credit for allowing us to get the generator. And, we have not had to use it yet, but at least it's here if we do need to use it. And the issue with the unit not starting was actually the battery. The battery must have had a bad cell or something in it, because every time you go to try to crank it, it didn't want to crank. You even throw it on a charger, and still it was like it was a hit and a miss if it would run. But Mom had bought a thing that goes up over top of the generator. It's supposed to be here, I think, next week, but it will actually keep like all the weather off of it, where you can run it, because even where it's at, still you have snow that's blowing, and it would blow on top of it. But right now, since it's not being used, I do have the generator cover on it. But as soon as we need to use it, then it's really would be an issue, because you don't want snow and ice and stuff piling up on top of it. But, I thank God that we do have the generator if need be. And we give, it was on sale for $800, and it has the electric start, everything. I mean, it's, they told us when we was looking at it that this was a very good deal. We should jump on it. So I did, and I thank God, for allowing us to get it, because we wouldn't have never been able to get it if it wasn't for him, and couldn't do it. But I think now that the world that we're living in, I think is good. If you can have a generator, because you never know what may happen, or if we have a major outage, that has to do, because I mean, we got to face it, that it's not going to be long, and the Lord's going to be coming back. So there's going to be a lot more things happen. And I think it's good to be prepared just in case.
I'm sitting here futzing with my tea. If everybody wants to know what I'm looking down for, because I've got all these different tea strainers. And this one's not working right, and it's a bit upsetting because this is my favorite one. It's a yellow submarine.
Oh, okay.
It's got tons of holes in it, but the holes are so small, it's not allowing the tea and the water to interact. No matter how many times I don't get up and down, it's not working right. So yeah, that's just going to be a decoration piece. Because right now my English breakfast tea is kind of looks like a wimpy version of a tea, but that's okay. I'll drink it. Lord has been good on that. Now you talk about ice and snow on your generator. Have you thought about your heat pump? Have you got a cover on it to keep the ice off of it?
Actually, we have thought about that, and so far we haven't had an issue with it, because I know that most heat pumps, and I know ours has it, it's like a de-icer. So as soon as I guess it starts to run, then it makes sure that there's no ice or anything on it. But so far, even with all this ice that we had, we didn't have no issue. But we have thought about putting we do have one of those big umbrellas, and the one guy told us, he said what he did, the Spectrum guy that came here, he took his big umbrella that has the stand, and he just put it right next to it, and it covered the whole thing. So that way, none of he said it worked fine. So I was thinking about maybe trying that, but I was like, well, if we have heavy winds, then it might blow it over.
But it would behoove you to put that umbrella up. Really would. Now, our heat pump, the way it's constructed, actually has a cover built on it, so we don't have to worry about that. But there's a lot of people that they're burning up their heat pumps because they're frosting and iced over. That was a real problem with this storm that came through here. People couldn't use their heat pumps because of all the ice. Because it was basically, this was not a snowstorm. This was an ice storm. This is not snow that you're seeing outside my door when I took that video. That's all sleet.
That's all sleet.
Every bit of that is sleet.
It's
not snow.
It's not snow.
So it's all ice. It's not snow. It's hilarious.
Yeah, well, yeah, I understand that now, because there was so much ice that even yesterday, when I went to get that off of the car, it was still about 3 inches thick. And I was shocked. I was like, it seems like this stuff is not melting at all. But if you look at it, because I'm planning on doing a video, and it's actually a little bit of a documentary of when like cloud seeding and stuff started, and basically where we are today. But several people have actually said on Facebook, and Mom says she wants to try this out. And I don't know how it's going to be with this particular snow that we just got. But I know that the chemicals and stuff that was in the ice, but for the first icing, and when you take it and you would ball it up, and you would light a fire to it, it wouldn't melt. It simply wouldn't melt. And it was like when they put a fire to it, you could smell like some kind of chemical burning. And it was horrible. But I was going to try it with this one. And when I made a statement online, I said, do not let your kids eat this stuff because it's not cool. And then we found out that there was some issues with, like, where people have found metal in there, and it was, when they would look under a microscope, you could see it, and it did not look at all like a normal snow or ice. It was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man has found a way to mess up just about everything God created. And if you leave it alone long enough, we'll find some way to come through and mess it up. And we've done very well with that for 6,000 years now. And we'll continue to do that way until Jesus comes back and establishes the kingdom. Because we have hearts that are desperately wicked. And we can't even know our own heart, according to Jeremiah. And, it's just like, that's why God had to destroy the Tower of Babel to take care of that, because he said, we will not be able to stop the imagination of their hearts otherwise, because they'll just keep going and going and going if we don't, put the brakes on this. So they ended up speaking all these languages, and, now we have a universal language that everybody understands well enough to be a real issue. And we're starting to build, according to everything I've read out of Switzerland, they have actually created a portal with at CERN and been able to send something to the other side of that portal. Now, we don't know where it went. We don't know what that portal opens up to. But they've actually opened this portal more than once. And, if you look at what information you can find about the Tower of Babel, they had, or were in the midst of trying to create a portal, like a Stargate, so that the entities, the gods, could come back down to them, and they could go up to visit with the gods. So, we think a lot of this science fiction stuff's crazy. You go back and read some of these ancient documents, you're going to find out it's not as crazy as you think it is. Those people that live back there are a whole lot smarter than we are. And we always say, those people were primitive, they were dumb, they didn't know anything. Well, we're the ones that don't know anything. We don't know enough to go back and check our history and see what was going on back then. And you start reading this stuff and you're going, there's a guy named Zachariah Stitchin wrote a whole bunch of books on the Anunnaki. Now, I think Stitchin is just an absolute nutcase, but his research is spot on. But some of the conclusions he came to were just out there. But again, it's like other guys that I keep hearing about that I've heard about all my life. Basically, they said, "Well, don't read that guy. He's crazy. He don't know what he's talking about." And you go and read it, and it's like, well, he does know what he's talking about. His conclusions are a little bizarre, but his research is impeccable. I think of Stitchin. I think of a guy named Immanuel Velikovsky, who came up with a possible theory for why Joshua's day was long. I think of George Pember's earliest ages. I even think of Alexander Hislop's The Two Babylons. You read that stuff, you start looking at the references they give, and you start checking. Internet Archive is a wonderful place to go check these references these guys give, because they've done a wonderful job of preserving these older books that nobody wants to read. And you can go check on them. Well, he says in this book, on this page, it's quote, and then he'll give you the quote. Well, you go on Internet Archive, you look up that book, you get to that page, and guess what? It's right there. And I've always been a guy, when I get a book, the first thing I do, I check the back cover, and I check the front cover, and I look at the table of contents. But what I'm interested in is I want to look at the bibliography bibliography. Where did he get his information? And I will start checking that before I even read the book.
That's a good thing to do because some of the people they come up with, I mean, and they use some crazy, crazy things to basically get their point across. But one of the things, like especially with this thing here, and see, really, it's like President Trump. He's right. He's spot on. Like he'll say, you can't believe the news people, and I agree. I agree. Some of them is so far left that they just is totally crazy. Um, but when I was doing this research about the cloud seeding and how all this was, and how people started basically being a whistleblower, and because it started out with the people that was doing it was the military,
Mm-hmm.
and really what it was supposed to be was to make it so the farmers that needed more rain, that they'd be able to shoot this stuff up there into a cloud when that was going to produce rain and basically produce more rain. That's what they was trying to do, so it would produce more. But they're coming, and they have not admitted to it yet. But I think that was due the issue with all this flooding in North Carolina that happened. They're trying to research and see if indeed that this was done at that same time that
Yeah.
caused that major flooding.
Yeah. Well, you look back at
It's wild.
it is, but you look back at HARP up in Alaska. It's research, and that part of HARP was to modify weather. Was one of the things that they were trying to do when they first started out. Now, HARP they ended that project years ago, but the thing is, it's never been shut down. There are, the military started it, and then they said, well, okay, we're done doing the research. We know everything we wanted to know from HARP. Uh, but then private companies have now come in. The Air Force still owns it. So private companies are coming in, paying contracts to the Air Force so that they can use HARP and conduct whatever experiments they want. So if anybody's interested, go look up HARP and start reading about HARP in Alaska, and it will give you it'll open your eyes to a whole lot of things that you would not ever think of. It's incredible the amount of stuff our government has done, and it's not just our government; it's governments around the world. And there's some things like CERN that it's a global team of people. So it's all of the nations are involved in CERN in some way, shape, or form. So they're crazy. They're just
Yeah, it's it's really bizarre. But I wanted to get on and actually wanted to bring this up so people would know um, what's going on. I did touch on it. I think it might have been yesterday. I did get online for a minute. Well, I don't even think I got online. I just put in a thing saying that the server was down because there was an issue with the one of the drives, and the church, Brother Sonny's church, is actually the one that bought these drives for us, but they do have a 5-year warranty. So we're waiting for Brother Sonny to be able to get in touch and get that information so we can send this drive back. What they basically told me was I had to send this drive back before they would send me another drive. And
mhm.
I was like, well, I've got an issue here because I don't have another 13 terabyte drive to, put all this data on. So I'm trying to get it worked out where maybe they would allow me to do it. If not, I would hate to have to back all this stuff up into the cloud because that would take a lot of time to do. Um,
Well,
so
and
all the websites are down at the moment, and I'm going to try to get them at least back up on my other Synology. I think it's a smaller drives in that one. I think they're like 2 or 4 terabyte drives. It's in the old machine. This one here has all 13 terabyte drives. So plenty of data, plenty of data. So it's not like that. These are set up to where, like, if one hard drive fails, you don't lose all of your data.
right.
So that's a good thing about that because they have what they call a spare. So that spare, if there's any issue, it'll go in and it'll basically make sure that volume is up to date. But before I won't do anything, I want to make sure that I have this Synology all the way backed up
Hmm.
before I do anything because Lord knows all of us has put in so much work with the Bible college and everything else that I'm not trying to lose anything. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of work that I have to do, and I'm going to be working on that some today to at least try to get our websites back up because it's a must. I hope for felons and everything's got to be back up. And this is the first time that it's ever been down like this, but we have definitely, hopefully, Brother Sonny can get that information to me today so that way I can go ahead and start the process so we can get us another drive in here.
Yeah, backing things up to the cloud. I don't like backing things up to the cloud because you lose information and you can lose it pretty quick. It's it's not as trustworthy as they want you to believe it is. It's just lost Douglas, and there he is. He's back.
No, I don't know what's going on. It just basically put everything in a stop pattern for a minute. I had to switch over to the cable modem. I'm not sure what's going on. I think they're really having some issues because of the weather.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Now we've been fortunate, haven't had any issues with that with our internet. You know, it's one of them deals, brother, where you never can tell what's going on and why it's going on, and they aren't explaining it. You know, you don't own
No,
anything.
they are not doing it.
They are in control.
No, we don't own anything.
Yeah. Uh, as Klaus Schwab said before he resigned from the World Economic Forum, you will not own anything and be happy eating bugs. That's exactly what that man
Oh
was
my!
saying. You will own nothing, you will be happy, and you will be eating bugs. And it's like, okay. Now, old Klaus resigned finally, but yeah, that's a whole nother ball of wax to get into that I don't want to get into.
Well, I just know that this whole thing of the last 6 months has been a life changer for me because, figuring out, because we bought Photoshop. We actually bought it on a disc, and I've still got, where I done my installation, and they said, well, I'm sorry, it's no good. I said, well, we paid for this, so I'm still in a debate with them, but in the meantime, I had to get their cloud version of Adobe.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's ridiculous. Uh, but that is the only thing. See, I know that I can use Canva, but the problem is I'm not able to import a MP, let's see, hold on, MP4, and then basically change that video format by deleting the video and just leaving the voice and save it as an MP3. Um, that's what I have been faced with since I'm doing so much of the weather lines that it's a lot of technical stuff. And I've ever since that I've started this weather line, it's been like learning stuff that I've never done before. And but to me, I love new challenges. But I think that I've come to the point now where I'm like, okay, I don't need nothing new. I'm good. I'm good now. I've got to try to play catch up to get where I need to be.
Yeah. Um, well, I'm trying to think. I know there's a way to do it. I'm to where you can do that without a whole lot of mess. I mean, there's plenty of places online that are free for you to convert an MP4 to MP3. But I'm trying to think if there's something that you can install on your computer so you're not dependent on online service to do it. And right now, I can't think of anything. I can only think of online places. I know, well, let's see. Let me look here and see. Um, there's a audio software that I used to use, well, I still do. Um, it's Windows that used to be able to do all kinds of audio stuff and used to be able to do the MP4 to MP3 called Audacity. I don't know if you've ever heard of
Oh,
that.
oh yeah, yeah. They used to use that a lot for podcasting. They used to use Audacity.
Yes. I know that it used to be able to convert MP4 to MP3, and it's still free.
I have to
So,
check into that because I know I used to use that, and I used a program called Butt,
yes,
and basically Butt would allow me to like live stream as a DJ or whatever, and because we had it set up to where we had our own radio uh, show, but
yeah,
it was the problem was is I just did not have the manpower nor it's something, oh yeah, it would be good to do, and I get in there and do it, and I couldn't be able to do everything else, and then this too, and then okay, I'm still adding things, so I had to basically say, okay, we're gonna stop, we're gonna regroup, uh, and I think the most important thing is to make sure that the organization is running like it's supposed to be, and that is a full-time job in itself. And then the server thing, it really runs its own. I mean, once everything is set up, you don't really have to mess with it. It pretty much just runs. Like all them hard drives, and then that one, they're like 6 years old and still humming, and I've never had an issue with them. So it's very, very rare that you run across an issue like that. Very, very rare. Even security on these things is like number one. I mean, they're very, the way they're set up, they just do not. I mean, you can't get into them because it'll lock you. After three attempts, it automatically locks you out.
Yeah, yeah. And security is always a major issue, especially on the internet. And the thing that I find interesting about the whole concept of security is that using a credit card on the internet is probably the most dangerous thing you can do. You're more secure typing your credit card number in on your phone than you are typing it into the internet on a website. And that's ridiculous. It should be just as secure typing it in onto the internet as it is your phone. But it's not. It will never be.
I agree with you because that's like, Brother Sonny. He sent a check to cover his phone bill, and the check, both checks came back not delivered.
Hmm.
Well, the one check, I don't think he ever got it back. I think they actually opened it up, took the check out, and sent the basically the envelope back to him on the first one, and then this last one, he got the whole thing back. But you know, he's the kind of person, he's very scared to put his credit card information in, and I understand that. Uh, because I told him the best thing we could do, since both of us use the same bank, is to use Zelle, because that's going right through the bank. And I think that would be a more secure way, since he don't want to do any other credit card. But he uses that Venmo, but Venmo charged me to not doing it the same day, but waiting 3 days. They charged
Yeah.
us like $2, and I was like, because I mean, I have to make sure that, because of course I love Brother Sonny, I'd do anything for him, but there's no way that I can pay the extra of the phone bill because I'm paying so much now with Hope for Felons. And one of the things that I plan to do on our next board meeting, is to actually show, you know, all the numbers, like from the church that come in, from whoever that donates, that comes in, and then what, basically what I have to pay. Because right now we're going to get there. We're going to get there. God is going to make sure that everything is covered. And I still, even though, say, we get to the point to where the donations are good enough, I still would always give, because I always have. I've always, paid all the bills, made sure everything was taken care of, and didn't rely on nobody. Um, that's the way that, we've done. But now, when you're growing, it takes a lot more to be able to do. I thank the Lord that Mama, she pays the electric bill. Electric bill has like doubled, having the office out there. I did cut the heat back, since I'm going to be in here until, I do go back out there. But, I dread what the light bill's going to be this next month, because the heat just constantly running and running and running and running.
Yeah, same thing here. I mean, the heat's always running, but um, you mentioned different ways of getting money to folks. With the servers being down, are there any other options for people to use to donate to Hope for Felons online?
Uh, actually, right now online, uh, I would say the only way that they could do it um, is I would have to post a link, that same link that's on, and I'll make sure I get that and actually put it in the on Facebook, because that same link that you push when you would go to Hope for Felons, that same link can be accessed anywhere, and it basically goes to a secure server, which is the new company that we went with,
Right.
and they seem to be so far so good. I haven't had a chance to really check them out, but the credit card lady that's on our board, Roy Penn, she looked at all the fine print and she said, "I don't know how they're doing this," but she said that's a very good deal, because she looked at everything and she said it was well worth it. And they said it's something that only is available to nonprofits through this company.
Well, I mean, at least you can post a link, and I would post it since the websites are down, because nobody can get in there. Because I've been trying to access the site myself, and it can't get the site. The server's down naturally, but there are probably folks that if they knew that there was a link they could go to, especially here on Facebook. I mean, we have several people that watch this. Uh, I'm kind of surprised that we have as many views as we do. Uh, but I've always been surprised how many views I get on the Forge. I can't explain it, but I get a lot of views on the Forge. I get a lot of people want to donate to the Forge, and I keep telling them, no, we're not a church. We don't accept donations. We're a ministry, and that's it. Everything's taken care of through other means, and that's how we're going to keep it. We have my home church that we're a part of their ministry. We don't get any money from my home church because it's not been needed. God has taken care of everything as far as hope, as far as the Forge goes. It's just, I keep saying, it's just a Bible study. It's all it is. We're not a church. We're not a denomination. We're just a Bible study, And right now, I think we're the only ones studying through Genesis, and everybody is really enjoying that. So we're going to continue to plod through Genesis, and we may make it by the rapture, but I don't think so.
Well, I do. I have to say that I do enjoy uh, watching the Forge, and I, really enjoy, um, having the ability to. I was trying to actually pull that and see if I could turn the server on, so you might hear some beep in here in a minute. I don't know, but I was going to see if I could at least get that link. Oh boy, it's starting now. Well, yeah, there it goes. It's a beeping. I'm gonna have to shut that thing down because I can't deal with the beeping.
Yeah, I can hear the
But
beep.
I I, I do agree with you. I do need to have that. I'm planning on at least putting the everything will definitely be back up and running on the other server later on today. But I'm definitely gonna have it so. Um, Let me make sure that we're still on live. To make sure that, if the people want to donate, that even if their server's on or if the server's off, that they'll still be able to, you know, to access that. Myself, it don't matter how people donate. Some people send checks. which that's totally fine. But if you do want to donate, uh, you know, there is a way that you can actually go in and set up a reoccurring. I know some people do that. Um, Roy used to do that through her company that she works for, um, which was Clover. But Clover just got to where they was charging this. It's almost, well, the first year was like almost $90, and then they said, well, we're going to change it, and now people have to pay a yearly fee of,
Mm-hmm.
it seemed like this time it was 79, I think, or something other like that. And we just said, well, it's crazy because we don't really take in that much, and especially we was charged this on this account, and Mama was charged on her online smart mall, which we don't do that much. But what we've decided to do is integrate online smart mall into like a merch sales for Hope for Felons, and then everything that's made will go in back into Hope for Felons. So basically, it just remove Mom from all her stuff in the online smart mall, and it just be, well, we'll be able to sell merchandise to anybody online. I mean, be the same as it is now, where you can design something, but we'll also have like uh, Hope for Felons merchandise, like T-shirts, hats, cups,
Right.
that type of thing. I
Well, I
know
mean,
Dr. Joe Bob. He had us some uh, some mugs, and he has them up in his study.
well, and the thing is that you can even put that link on the page for Hope for Felons. You know, the group page.
Yeah,
Probably not to show up
I
because it's on.
definitely will.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be real easy to put it up on the group page, and then you could find it real simply. Um, but with the servers going down, I don't know, anybody that's going to be searching for another way to donate unless they can find a link on Facebook, which is where you're at. So I would put a link on the page so that they can find a way to do that, because uh, it's difficult to, especially for those people don't. A lot of people don't even have checks anymore. They they have their debit card, and they just here. I don't need checks. I don't need money. I got credit. And that's part of the Antichrist system of getting you to get rid of your cash. But that's a whole different story.
That it is. It's and actually, you know what? I might be able to go to that link. Uh, let's see here. I think I can actually get it without going into the server. So I'm going to look here because I do remember that when I started this company, uh, with this new company, they actually gave us um, a link to where we can log in, and we actually have that. And I'm trying to see if I can locate it. I have so many URLs on my page, bookmark page, that it's unreal.
I've gotten to that point, and I've set up. I don't know how many folders to divide it all up and try to make some sort of organized sense out of it. But it's like herding cats. It just doesn't work.
Do you remember what the name of that company was we went with?
No, I don't.
That's pretty bad because my mind just went totally blank. I hate it
My,
when it does that.
see, I, I'm one of those people. I can look at a person and I can tell when their mind goes blank because they end up with that sketch face.
Yeah, so many over here, and I know that I use Right Smart. I have to use like for the weather and everything to pull the weather, so I have a bookmark for everything. But when I look over here in the bookmarks, my stars, I have miscellaneous bookmark, candy bookmark, lessons, subscriptions, domain, podcasting, service, and the list goes on and on and on. Criminal law, personal, and it just keeps on going over that. And it's just, I've just got so many, and I mean, it's just like, and that's folders that they've really just got out of hand.
Oh yeah, like I said, I got folders galore. Uh, just all kinds trying to keep it organized and yeah, right. That ain't gonna happen.
Okay, so y'all's gonna have a podcast tomorrow, right?
For church, yes. At about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock your time. And it will be on Bible Believers Church's page, or you can look up Jonathan Cates. And 11 o'clock tomorrow, Central, 11 Central. And then Monday, I'll be doing Martyr Monday. That thing has become a lot more popular than I thought it would. I don't do. I People think I spend hours studying this stuff. I don't. I really don't. A lot of the stuff I pull out of my memory from school. A lot of this history stuff,
Uh-huh.
I just go looking for the pictures. But as far as doing studying, brother, I have read so many history books and studied so much history in school, and I retained it. And it's just like with the Forge. I do spend hours studying for the Forge, but it's studying stuff I haven't studied before. Um, with Genesis, I've studied Genesis actually in classroom settings at least 6 different times, and of that, I could name my professor in Genesis, and I'm sure out of the 6 different times I've gone, most people would recognize at least 4 of the names because of the books they've written on Genesis, or because of other books they've written. Um, so it's not like I haven't spent my life studying this. I have. I'm just, for some reason, I just have really good retention, and yeah, I don't have a photographic memory by any stretch, but I can definitely hold on to a thought for a while. Hey, we got a third window. What do we got there?
Let me see if that should be the link.
It's a blank page.
Okay, hold on then. I
There
guess
we
it did.
go. It's swipe simple. It came up.
Now it probably went back away.
Probably.
I was trying to see. I guess I could just go into the because that link there is a link that because I did go into the to our account and I seen there that was the link. So let me put it in the. Let's see here if I got a. Should have a chat here somewhere. Oh, there we go. And then I'll post it on Hope for Felons website. Website. On the group page. Well, where in the world the comments on the computer went out? That's weird. Facebook does some crazy things.
Hey, tell me about it. Facebook is insane. I still say it's the devil.
Oh well, I have to say I definitely agree with you. It started out to where everybody thought it was a good thing, and it is. It depends on how it's used, but when you have people on the back end controlling Christians, then that becomes an issue.
Yeah. And I don't see any, I don't have Facebook open at all anywhere. So I don't know any of the comments. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I know I had to look up a while ago because they said we was echoing, so I went in there and I think I fixed the echo. And I was trying to see here under comments. Okay, there we go. Randy Crossland is watching. So I'm going to put down here in the chat, and you can, y'all can see if you see it. It may work, it may not. We don't know how Facebook's going to do, but I just posted the link. It's swipesimple.com but it'll actually take you to the page. Let me see if I take this and paste it in. Okay, yeah, it goes right to the Hope for Felons to donate.
All right. Well, good deal.
It does. So we're good on that. I'm glad that you brought that up because I probably wouldn't have thought about it because I've been so concerned about trying to get this back up and running. And, with the weather too, it's like, okay, at least I know I can't get out. So I did, that thing that you told me to get, that HDMI, that one that was on sale. It finally came yesterday. All this time, used to, stuff would be delivered the next day. There is no next day now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of the time, it's waiting about a week now. You have to wait. But mark my words on this, Brother Picher. This is what I think. And I could be totally wrong. But this is my theory. My theory is that Amazon is going to start delivering letters.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Oh, my. That it's because of them owing so much money and the way that they are. I think that it won't be long and Amazon will be the one bringing us our mail. I really believe that. And actually, when you look at it, I think it would probably be more beneficial since they're all over. I think it would work out better. Probably could deliver a cheaper rate, probably, than what they USPS could charge.
That's not a bad theory.
Like I said, I'm wrong on that, but I think it's possible.
Yeah, that's not a bad theory at all. I kind of like that theory. I kind of like
Yeah,
that too.
anything that would save money. Because paying $1 per letter is ridiculous, and that's about what we have. That's about what a stamp is now. It's close to $1.
Yeah, I know. Uh, and what's sad is that the services, the worse the services got, the more it cost us for bad service.
I agree.
I mean, I remember as a
I
kid
agree.
that you could depend on the postman to be Johnny on the spot, and every day didn't matter what the weather was, he'd be right there delivering your mail. Nowadays, they don't get out. Haven't had any mail all week.
No,
No garbage
now
collection.
Mama, she was mad. She was mad. Mama was. She called the USPS. Nobody'd answer the phone.
Oh, there's
Nobody,
nobody there.
and because she was just going to tell them. Yeah, she was going to tell them to just leave the packages either in the mailbox or beside the mailbox, and we'll go down there and get it.
Right?
And because I know that it's too bad they can't make it up the driveway, but nobody will answer the phone, so you can't get a hold of nobody.
Yeah, um, same thing here. I mean, they say, well, we're hiring, we need more people. Well, why? You're not doing the job that you're supposed to be doing now. You're charging 3 times more than you should be charging and doing 3 times less than you were doing before. It just, it's nuts. It's
I
nuts.
agree, because I mean, there's no way that I could see them going in debt like they are, and like they really the federal government has bailed them out so many times, and it's not even a lot of people don't know this, but USPS is not government owned.
It used to be.
It's a private entity, but they keep going in the red, but the US government keeps bailing them out, bailing them out. Well, so I know that they was supposed to step in and see what was going on, but I don't know what the outcome ever came of that. But I think that if they just had a company like Amazon come in, since they're already, have delivery in probably in every state, why not just let them take care of the mail and give them that extra money? I think it would be well spent, money well spent, because you don't know. Like Brother Sonny, when he sent that to me, I never got neither letter. It come back undeliverable, but one come back and the check was missing out of it. So I mean, we need something that's more reliable than what we got for sure, because it's not reliable.
It's strange because I'm listening to you, and it sounds like the you don't realize that the USPS was a government office. It was all government owned. It was in the 70s or early 80s that the government pushed them out and made it a private entity, and it was the way the government did it to quote unquote, that we're talking about reducing the size of government. And one of the things they did was they took USPS and made it a private sector quote unquote job instead of it being a government job. So, but it's still the government. The Congress still controls USPS. The Congress still funds USPS. It didn't change. All they did was change the designation so that they didn't have these people counted on the federal employee rolls, because they wanted people to think they were reducing the size of government and the number of employees. It's the same thing they did with me when uh, several years ago, because I was on disability. I'm not on disability anymore. I'm now on Social Security retirement. But when I was on disability, I was 57. Um, they still had me on the rolls as unemployed. Well, I couldn't get a job. There was attempted many different jobs, just could not do anything because of what's wrong with me. Um, and they sent me a letter and they said, I am no longer to declare myself as disabled. I'm to declare myself as retired. Now, I didn't get my retirement Social Security check by any stretch of the imagination, but it was so they could reduce the numbers for people who were unemployed. They wanted to make it look like all of a sudden all of these people that had been disabled had gotten employed. So that's how they reduced the number, by telling me you're no longer disabled, you're retired. And I thought that was stinking hilarious, but that was how they do it. It's just a numbers game. Okay, well, we got a million
It is.
a million point two disabled people. Well, if we take half of those people, if they're over the age of 55, and tell them they're retired, guess what? We're going to have 800,000 instead of a million point two. That's 400,000 people we don't have to count on the unemployment rolls. And that's how they do it. It's just an eggshell game.
Yeah.
Putting the P under the cup. Where's the P? And keep moving the P and keep moving the P. Eventually, the P is going to catch up to them. But that's all it is. It's
Yeah, I think that I never knew that about that the federal government did consider. I mean, when you look at it, yeah, they would definitely have to be a part of the federal government, because you have the inspector general that, if anything comes, it's a federal crime with mail theft and all that. And they would have to have it under uh, federal regulations. But I'm assuming that could still be done if they was to go the route for, like Amazon. But I think that, in my opinion, I think Amazon. I don't know. I'm surprised that nobody's thought of that
I'm not
before
quite sure
now. Because I think that would be a way to reduce a lot of cost, is just run everything, because they're traveling the roads now. So why not let them take care of the mail? Because there's not near as mail as there used to be anyway, because most people just send an email rather than sending a letter. Most
right.
everything that we get in our mailbox, 90%, is stuff that is thrown in the garbage.
Oh yeah, yeah. But this is not the first time they've tried to privatize. And this is what the other big word, privatize. We want to privatize it. If we privatize it, it will save us money. We'll pay a contractor to do it. They ain't saving any money. I'll guarantee you, it's just another way for them to be able to hide the money they steal. It's just crazy.
You're right.
They tried to
There's so
privatize.
much fraud out there. There's so much fraud.
I mean, you think of all these people that go into Congress, and they go into Congress and they're making six figures a year. Okay, they get into Congress, and by the time they get out of Congress, they're multi-millionaires. Well, where did all that money come from? It didn't come from getting speaking engagements. I don't care how good you are or who you are. You're not paying $1 million to hear somebody speak once.
Oh no.
So
Mm-mm.
you know that they're insider trading and there's kickbacks and one hand wash the other. You get all these guys, man. They the first time they go for election, I mean they, Johnny Pureblood, Dudley Do Right, just we're upstanding, fine. And after their first term, they're like they're dirtier than anybody else. I mean they are just thinking loaded with money. They and they're not going to prosecute any of them. Everybody says, well, arrest them. Well, they won't. It's because they're all in cahoots together. The Republicans and the Democrats, they're in cahoots. This whole federal shutdown they got going on now, it by the time it's all said and done, whatever the Democrats want, they're going to get. They're just going to hide it in a bigger bill so that nobody sees that the Democrats got what they wanted, because the Democrats want to reduce the funding for Department of Homeland Security because they think that'll, limit ICE and what ICE does. You're not going to limit what ICE does. Can't do
No,
it.
a lot of people so upset about that, but people these days they take everything to Facebook and they don't have a clue on what actually happened. I mean, I do say this, and I don't know your thought about it, but I do feel personally going through criminal justice. I understand, yeah, but I really believe that I don't care who you are in law enforcement, that you should not have a mask on if you're going to arrest somebody. Now, I am totally against that. I do know that some people say that yeah, they probably could use it for the bad, but I think that whoever's arresting me, I would like to be able to know who they are as far as arrest an officer. But they cover it up to where the only way you're going to find out is if that agent does something that's not may not be supposed to have done, then it'll come out on who that person was. And but I really think, in my opinion, though, I think that I just don't like the fact that they have a mask on. I just everything else. I mean, if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, which a lot of them are, we all know there's good police, there's bad police. That's just the nature of the game. Um, but I'm all for ICE and having them do what they need to do. But I believe that, in my opinion, I think that they should be made to take off the mask. I do. I do.
Well, I'm kind of nonplussed about the mask because I can see both sides of it. And if a person like you take you for instance, you would like to know who's arresting you, who the officer is. Well, his name is going to be in the court records, and you can get a copy of your court records and see who it is. Um, the problem that ICE has, it's the same problem that undercover agents have when, like for the FBI, when they're doing the undercover sting operations, uh, is that once you're identified, these people are going to try to kill you and or your family. So that's part of the reason why these guys cover their face. And everybody says, well, that's a poor excuse. Well, okay, I tell you what, why don't you go out into the street, even the protesters are covering their face because they don't want to be identified so that nobody comes and arrests them. Well, ICE agents cover their face because they don't want people going around terrorizing their families. It's a two-edged sword, and I can
Yeah.
see both. Well, yeah, they shouldn't have to do that, but for their own protection, it's so it's six of one, half dozen of the other. Just depends on what's going on. And my voice is starting to go.
Okay, well, brother, I've got to get in here and fix this. Try to work on this server. So if you want to go ahead and pray, and we'll wrap this up for today. That way, I can. I've already turned my other server on, so I'm going to see if how hard would it be to be able to back up this with that one. I know that probably won't be able to get everything, but at least everything that's on that drive.
All righty. Father, we just thank you so much for this day. We just pray that you be with Brother Doug as he continues to work on a solution to the problem that he's facing with the servers, among other things, and just ask that you continue to use him for your honor and glory, and all the ministries that he's just gotten himself involved in. We just thank you so much for his willingness to do all of that, and continue to use him and bless him and his mother as they continue to serve you. And be with each one of the separate ministries, Hope for Felons and the Bible Institute, and Brother Sonny and the old revival, the old Black Book Revival Hour, and just all of it. We just thank you that those are able to be done, and just pray for those that are watching. We just ask you to continue to bless them. Use us for your honor and glory throughout the rest of the week. All this we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Well, you take it easy, brother.
You too, brother,
And
and
let me go ahead.
we'll talk to you later.
All righty. Bye-bye.